Retirement in the US is getting more expensive, but smart retirees are moving abroad to enjoy a better life for a fraction of the cost. Do you also want to escape from a place with high cost of living, increasing violence, and high taxes? You're about to learn where you can buy a home in 10 serene, beautiful places for under $100,000. And you wish you knew this sooner. I analyzed hundreds of cities to arrive at a result that surprised even myself. Honestly, despite living in Europe, I never imagined that there are European Mediterranean towns where you can buy a 3-room apartment with a sea view like this one for less than $62,000. Less than the price of a parking spot in many American cities. So stick around, or you might miss the best retirement deal of your life. First, we start with Latin America and then Europe, and our first country has been through a lot lately: Argentina. Because the land of the Pampas and Tango turned it into an enticing spot for retirees seeking affordability and quality of life, yes, some Argentinians might say that I'm crazy to recommend their country due to their long-term economic problems. Because Argentina is not a good place if you need to earn a salary, but if you live in a pension from abroad, then things turn completely. With its recent economic fluctuations, Argentina has seen property prices adjust, make it a prime destination for those looking to stretch their retirement dollars further. And the lower cost of living is just a small part of all the attractions this country has. We are not talking about a miserable country. Despite all difficulties, Argentina is still one of the best countries in Latin America to live. I made an entire video comparing Argentina versus Uruguay, so take a look if you're interested in knowing more about this spectacular place. Now, of course, it will be very hard for you to find a good place in Buenos Aires for less than $100,000. However, why would you want to live in Buenos Aires? Let's dive into 2 specific cities where buying a home for less than $100,000 is not just possible, but comes with the bonus of a good quality of life. First, Mar del Plata. Known as La Feliz, the happy one, this coastal city is Argentina's go-to summer spot with its beautiful beaches stretching for miles. It was considered in 2023 one of the best cities in Argentina to live. The weather there is very mild. Even during the winter, the temperatures are most of the time above 10 degrees Celsius, 50 Fahrenheit. It can get crowded during January, and this is the biggest criticism of locals. This is what a resident from Mar del Plata recounted about the city. Open quote. I live in Mar del Plata. It's also a good option if you like the beach and sun, but only until January. That is, before it gets unpleasantly crowded with people. End quote. Another weakness of the city, according to its own residents, is its poor road safety. There are not many traffic lights and some of its streets are not very well signposted. But see this view. This is what you get for less than $100,000 in Mar del Plata. Yes, for less than $100,000 you can buy a seafront, modern apartment at the Avenida Felix Camé, which is one of the most sophisticated places in the city. Cheaper options exist in neighborhoods like La Perla and Constitucion, offering affordable real estate not far from the beach. Now, housing is not the only cost you should take into consideration, and the cost of living in Mar del Plata is notably lower than in major US cities. Living there, for example, costs 54% less than in Miami. If you prefer to live a bit more inland instead of the seaside, another good option is Córdoba. It's a city where the residents are proud of their local traditions, including their remarkably unusual accent. I'm obviously fluent in Spanish, but there are plenty of things in Cordobés that I don't understand very well. Córdoba has beautiful colonial architecture in the heartland of Argentina. In the villages surrounding Córdoba, you can find homes in quieter areas where properties are well under $100,000, like this one here in Villa Carlos Paz. It has 170 square meters, more than 1,800 square feet, and a swimming pool with a panoramic view for just $95,000. After Argentina, we just crossed the Andean mountain to Chile. I might be a bit suspicious when talking about Chile since I lived there. It's the most developed country in South America, and probably some people will get angry in the comment section because I say that, but it does not feel very South American in many aspects. They are the most developed South American country with the highest HDI. They have the highest average income. They are the first in the easy to do business ranking. They have the highest economic freedom. They have the second lowest corruption index. It's even difficult to find things that this country is not among the best in South America. For sure, they don't have the best football teams or the best cuisine. Peru is way better with food. And here comes the angry comment again. However, when we talk about Chile, we must avoid the trap of thinking only about Santiago. I live in Santiago. It's a huge city with almost 7 million residents, and there are many positive aspects there, but it's one of the most expensive places in entire South America. Instead of Santiago, I want you to think about a city called Concepcion. Concepcion lies in central Chile, about 500 kilometers south of Santiago. Make it easily accessible, yet far enough to feel like a different world. Nestled near the mouth of the Biobío River, this city has a population of around 230,000 residents in the urban area, but the greater Concepcion metropolitan area is much bigger, with over 1 million residents. The weather is mild since Concepcion is just a few kilometers from the Pacific Ocean. Well, of course, we are talking about Chile, so almost the entire country is just a few kilometers from the ocean. The city is close to one of the most famous natural wonders of Chile, Chillán, and its famous thermal waters and ski slopes. And here is something that people like me, who live in Santiago, might think is unthinkable. In Concepcion, you can buy an apartment with a majestic view of the Laguna Tres Pascualas in one of the best connected parts of the city and already fully furnished for just $92,000. Yes, for this price, you can wake up with this view every morning. Just be aware that the Spanish they talk in Chile is not the best. And I'm being kind here. But do you know in which country they speak a very easy to understand version of Spanish? Peru. Yes, Peruvian Spanish is probably the best one to learn since it has a very clear pronunciation. But Peru has more than that. Oh, much more. What most people don't realize is how Peru is actually a huge country, the third biggest in South America and one of the 20 largest in the world. It has beach resort towns like Máncora, towns in the middle of the desert like Huacachina, and big cities in the middle of the Amazon jungle like Iquitos. But the Peruvian city I want to tell you today is none of them. Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you one of Peru's gems, Arequipa. With more than 1 million inhabitants, it's Peru's second largest city. This is what a resident from Arequipa said about the city. Open quote. This city has good weather year-round, not too hot, not too cold, not too humid, many hours of sunshine. It's beautiful, it's safe, it's not too touristy, so not difficult to find decent, fairly priced accommodation. Delicious cuisine that is also famous. End quote. Sounds like a good idea. However, be aware that Arequipa also has two downsides. One is the fact that it's located 2,300 meters high, an altitude similar to Aspen in Colorado. So Arequipa's altitude can pose a challenge, as well as the risk of earthquakes. While many enjoy the city without issues, some visitors might experience altitude sickness due to the lower oxygen levels. If the altitude and the earthquakes does not bother you, this is what you can buy in Arequipa with less than $100,000. Like this fully furnished 3-bedroom apartment for just $79,000. Not only housing is affordable there, Arequipa is probably one of the cheapest cities with more than 1 million residents in entire South America, with a cost of living 74% cheaper than Miami. But let's say that Peru is too far for you. You want a place that is closer to the US. So the next country might be the ideal for you. But before we talk about it, I would like to ask a small favor. If you enjoyed this episode so far, please hit the like and subscribe buttons. So the next country is Mexico. And here I will not talk about huge cities like Mexico City or Guadalajara. No. I want you to think about a much more scenic, bucolic, cozy destination. The Yucatan Peninsula, covering Quintana Roo, Yucatan, and Campeche, offers Caribbean beaches and remarkably low levels of violence. Though popular among tourists, in Yucatan you can still find quieter, cheaper spots off the beaten path. One of the best and safest cities for expats in entire Mexico is Mérida, which is the capital of the Yucatan state, and the cost of living there is 58% lower than Miami. Mérida is not as touristy as Playa del Carmen or Cancun because it's not a big city. It's 35 kilometers from the coast. Despite having more than 1 million people, some parts of the city have a small town vibe, and it's very safe. I mean, European levels of safety. The city is consistently ranked as one of the safest major cities in Mexico. The homicide rate in Mérida is only 1.5 per 100,000 residents per year, a number similar to countries like Finland. Around 10,000 foreigners live in Mérida. Its modern suburbs and historic downtown are full of excellent restaurants, cafes, shops, and parks. All these perks do not bring an expensive price tag when you talk about home prices. You can buy a modern, fully furnished apartment in a privileged gated community with elegant halls and bright spaces for 1.9 million Mexican pesos, around $93,000. Now, from Latin America, we go a bit farther, but not very far, to a country that is partially in Asia and partially in Europe, Turkey. Their location and economic affordability make it an intriguing choice for retirees looking for both adventure and tranquility. Turkey also has an advantage that is often overlooked. It's a very well-connected country. They have huge, modern airports, and Turkish Airways is the airline that flies to most destinations in the world, so you'll always be just a flight away from nearly any country. Now, allow me to make a disclaimer. Turkey has almost 85 million people and is a country with enormous cultural differences. If you ask a Turk from Antalya what he thinks about the people from Karadeniz, for example, probably he'll tell you that they are weird. So weird that it's difficult for him to explain. So if one day you decide to move to Turkey, you must be very careful with the location so you don't find yourself in a place where you feel completely alienated. And I want to present to you a city that is praised by foreigners exactly because it's a place that makes people feel embraced. I'm talking about Izmir, a city with almost 3 million people on the Asian coast. The city enjoys a Mediterranean climate with hot summers and mild winters. The summers there are not that hot like in Antalya, where you feel your skin burn, but pleasant, perfect for enjoying the beaches and outdoor life, while winters are gentle and comfortable. While not the cheapest city in Turkey, Izmir's cost of living is still significantly lower than in many western cities. You can find apartments in areas like Karşıyaka or Buca for under $100,000, often featuring sea views or proximity to parks and cultural venues. You can buy a modern, recently built apartment with a swimming pool and gym access for just $93,000, and that is for a 2-room apartment, because if you are fine with a studio, then it would cost even less, just $73,000. Bordering Turkey is the next country on our list where you can buy a home for under $100K. Can you guess which country I'm talking about? Syria. No, I'm just joking. It's Bulgaria. Bulgaria is one of the most affordable countries in the European Union for property investment. In fact, by many measures, they are the most affordable country in the EU. And just recently, they joined the Schengen zone, the free transit area of the EU, meaning that if you live there, you can go anywhere in the EU anytime you want to have fun. One thing that made me travel so many times to Bulgaria is that it's a country that provides you with both summer and winter fun. If you want to go to the beach, they have a splendid coastline and majestic cities like Burgas. If you want to go skiing or hiking in the mountains, just head to Bansko or Borovac or Pamporovo. The biggest downside of Bulgaria is that many Brits already realized that it's a country with very low cost and wonderful qualities. So there is a chance you enter a bar thinking you will socialize with Bulgarian people, but there is a big screen with a Millwall vs Watford game and everyone there is from Southeast London. Other than that, it's such a nice place with incredible prices. One good city in particular is Varna, with a population of around 335,000. Varna has low prices, good infrastructure, and nice beaches. A good trifecta for those looking to make the most of their retirement. One of the city's standout features is its sea garden, a massive park that hugs the coastline. It's the ideal spot for morning walks, casual meetups over coffee, or simply enjoying the fresh air. A resident from Varna told us that, open quote, "It's overall a nice city, nice weather, huge sand beaches with a lot of small bars and clubs, a lot of greenery and parks in the city center. End quote. Another good point of Varna is its affordability. That is why it has become so popular among digital nomads and remote workers, for example. The city is also growing in popularity among expats, which means newcomers will find a welcoming community of like-minded people. Housing is budget-friendly, dining out won't stretch our finances, and everyday expenses are refreshingly low compared to Western Europe. You can buy a two-room apartment in the coveted resort town of Golden Sands for $85,200, and Golden Sands has a really lovely beach. Neighboring Bulgaria is our next country, which is so close, but so different. And by the way, if you are watching this video, you may be planning to move abroad to live better, to save money, and cut taxes. I have written 3 top-rated Amazon books on living abroad. Get them via the link in the comments or description. After Bulgaria, time to talk about Romania. They are neighbors, but couldn't be more different. Bulgaria is a Slavic country with a quite difficult language to learn. Romania, meanwhile, is a Romance-speaking country. The funny thing is that Bulgaria is one of the easiest Slavic languages, while Romanian is one of the hardest Romance languages. Which one is easier to learn? That is a good question. Try to guess in the comment section and the best answer might appear in my next video. Romania is not only an affordable country to live, it's also among the safest countries in the world, and recently, it was considered the 3rd best country in the world for remote professionals. Their economy improved so much in the last 30 years that they are called one of the European tigers, and their average internet speed is one of the highest in the world. I've personally been there and talked to residents about their real-life experiences. Of all the cities I have been in Romania, Brașov is my favorite. And I'm not alone. The majority of the locals, even from other Romanian cities, list Brașov as one of the best, if not the best, city in Romania for a foreigner looking to retire abroad. Brașov, with its almost 240,000 residents, is located in the foothills of the Carpathian Mountains and has plenty of nature around. I loved hiking to the top of the Tampa Hill just outside of the city. The view from there is breathtaking. Very close to Brașov, just 12 kilometers away, there is also a ski resort called Poiana, and the national park Piatra Craiului. Brașov also has several high-quality medical facilities. Regina Maria and MedLife are among the leading private healthcare providers in the city, and many doctors in their clinics speak English. Some locals might complain that Brașov in the winter is cold, and that is true, but it's a city with the 4 stations very well marked, so you also have a golden autumn, a magnificent spring, and a pleasant summer. Unlike other cities like Timișoara, Brașov is never too hot. One excellent characteristic of Brașov is the fact that it has a considerable community of expats and a good part of the population speaks English. This is what a local told us, open quote. I would recommend Brașov over Bucharest or Cluj, as it's cheaper, way less crowded, close to nature, and with nicer people. Younger people speak very well English, and you won't have any issues in bars, coffee shops, or restaurants. End quote. Since we've mentioned how affordable Brașov is, time to talk about the housing costs. A 2-room apartment in a very central and convenient location will cost you just $91,339. And it gets better. Just 20 minutes from Brașov, there is a town called Rasnov, famous for its international ski jumping competitions. It has even better prices. There you can buy a home for less than $81,000. One curious thing about this part of Romania is that there is a lot of Hungarian speakers there. Just like in Hungary, which is another great place to buy a home abroad for less than $100,000. In the last 20 years, the Hungarian income per capita has soared by more than 400%. It has one of the lowest crime rates in the world, 7 times safer than the US. Beautiful plains, scenic lakes, and mild springs have attracted the eyes and hearts of foreigners since the times of the Roman Empire. All of this comes with the 4th lowest cost of living in the European Union. In Hungary, you can literally buy a house for less than the price of a used car in the US. And in this country, there is a medium-sized city that should have your attention. It's called Szeged. It's the 3rd largest city in the country with 161,000 residents and is known for its education institutions and cultural events. Szeged is also noted for its mild climate and high number of sunny days, perfect to keep you active and healthy. Public transportation in Szeged is well developed with trams, buses, and trolleybuses serving the entire city, and a monthly public transport pass costs the equivalent of $25 for an entire month. The city also has a decent range of healthcare facilities operated by the local universities, like the hospital of the University of Szeged, which is especially well renowned. The city's lower pace and lower cost of living make it an attractive choice for those looking to return a budget. And here comes the best part. In Szeged, you can buy a 2-room home for less than 30 million Hungarian forint. Wait, what? 30 million? Don't worry. It's a big number, but it means less than $77,000. The downside of Hungary is that some things there are more expensive due to the fact that they have the second highest VAT in the world, so electronics there might be pricey. On the other hand, other taxes are relatively low when compared to most European countries. But if what you really want are low income taxes, just wait until you hear about the 2 next countries in this list. Because in these places, you not only live under the best weather for human life, the Mediterranean weather, but also have access to special tax regimes for foreign retirees that easily are among the most beneficial in entire Europe. The first of these 2 countries is Italy, more specifically, southern Italy. And why southern? Because of the very attractive special tax regime for new residents in southern Italy. The Italian government has implemented a unique tax incentive to attract individuals with income from abroad to live in cities with less than 20,000 residents in southern Italy. Under this scheme, qualifying residents only pay a 7% income tax on their foreign earned income. Yes, you heard it right. This special scheme reduces your income tax to just 7% on your foreign income, as long as you live in a city with less than 20,000 residents in the southern region. The most amazing part is that southern Italy has plenty of splendid towns that fit this requirement, like Finale di Polina, a stunning coastal town in northern Sicily, very attractive for those seeking a sunny and healthy conscious lifestyle. The Mediterranean climate in Finale ensures mild winters and long sunny summers, with annual sunshine exceeding 2,500 hours. The clean sea air and coastal breeze contribute to a healthy living environment. Since Polina has just 3,000 residents, it qualifies for the special tax regime of 7% income tax over foreign income. Remember the 3-room apartment for 59,000 euros or $61,000 that I showed at the beginning of this video? The one with a view to the Tyrrhenian Sea? It's located exactly there, in Finale di Polina. So I'm telling you that you can live there under such sunny weather, bathing on these beaches, and then return to your home for the apartment that you paid less than the value of a Ford F-150. And if all that is not enough, you will pay lower taxes. For me, this is almost unbeatable, and I say almost because there is one country in Europe that offers a similar climate, an equivalent attractiveness and healthy lifestyle, and a comparable special tax regime. This is probably the only country that can compete on equal terms with southern Italy. It's Greece. So that is why I made a comparison between Italy and Greece, considering factors that nobody compared before. You can see the result of this comparison in this video here, right at your left. Discover what is the ultimate destination in Europe for those who want sunny weather, a good life, and lower taxes.